Hello, groomers. You found the GroomPod. Welcome to our virtual salon. My name is Susy, and I'm your host. I'm a mobile groomer from Seattle, Washington, and anybody who knows me will tell you I love to talk, especially about my job. And one of my favorite people to talk to is my friend and mentor and the co-star of this show, the curator of ingredients, Miss Barbara Bird. And playing the part of Barbara Bird today is our field reporter, on the spot journalist, and good friend, Dana Chavez-Rey. Hi, Dana.
Hi.
And we're doing a video. So if you guys are getting the audio version of this, you can actually watch us in our fancy ears on YouTube at my YouTube channel. So this podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors. Oh, this is episode, I should probably say that first. Let's go up here. See, I moved my thing and now I can't do it. Welcome to episode 453 of the GroomPod, recorded on July 27th, 2025 in Snohomish, Washington and Sacramento, California. And as you can hear, it's not just Dana with us, but Captain and Anchor are with us too, and the puppies. So this podcast is brought to you by our kind sponsors, Show Season, Best Shot, Precision Sharp, Groommore, and Stasco. And if you guys would like to tip your podcasters or support Barbara's adventures, you can do so by going to the website, thegroompod.com, and clicking on the donation button. That money goes directly to Barbara. Or you can join us on Patreon to support the show. This week, we're talking about grooming show tips, how to make the best of your time at the grooming shows. What's new this week is brought to you by Groommore Software. If you haven't found Groommore, you're missing out. Groommore is an all-in-one software solution for your grooming business. Whether you are a solo mobile groomer or manage several shops, Groommore has everything you need. 24-hour online booking and forms, routing, credit card processing, reminders, Google Calendar and QuickBooks integration, and so much more. And the best customer service anywhere. Shop mobile or house call, Groommore has you covered. And they're giving us a free month. Just enter GroomPod22 in the coupon code. So I think I'm going to just tell you a story about my cat grooming yesterday for fun. Because I have a cat expert on here. Why not, right?
Why not?
Okay, so I've been doing this cat once a year for probably 6 or 7 years. And I do a comb cut on her. She's really fairly easy, but as she's getting older, she's getting a little bit less tolerant than she used to be. As a result, we had a wiggly nail trim 2 years ago, and I had a bleeder.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had a bleeder. And oftentimes owners think that the cat's going to bleed out or something. I don't know what they're thinking, but they were really horribly alarmed at the nail trim that had the bleeding in it. So last year they said, we just got her nails done at the vet. You don't need to do her nails. So I did the haircut and I didn't check the nails. I didn't do the nails, but I didn't see anything unusual. I had no reason to expect that these people would misrepresent themselves. But when they called this year, again, they said, now remember, don't do her nails. So I groomed the cat, did the clipper cut, and I was getting to the back end of the cat and I picked up her middle and I saw these gigantic nails that had not been groomed in at least 6 months, if not longer. So, Dana, they flat out lied to me. They lied to me about having the nails just done at the vet. They totally lied, which put me at risk. And now, after all these years, I kind of want to fire them because because I feel cheated. So instead, what I did, I didn't fire them, but I confronted them about the nails not having been done. I said, these nails were not done on Izzy. And for me, that's a very dangerous way to be. And so the minute I saw that the nails hadn't been done and knowing that Daniel doesn't want me to do them, I had to stop the groom because I wasn't going to go up underneath the front of the cat and be at risk from those gigantic back nails ripping up my forearm. I just didn't want to do it. So she's like, oh, no problem, no problem. Sorry about that. But it was an insincere sorry about that. I know she knew they didn't do the nails.
It was a hush. It was to appease you. The
Yeah.
apology was, I agree 100% for show. Um, and
My
we've
options, if I'd have looked at the beginning of the groom, I would have just done the nails and they could have dealt with that instead of me being at risk for the whole groom,
right.
thinking the nails. It was my fault. I admit it. I didn't look. I should have looked right off the bat. But the cat usually is not a problem. So I didn't look. Do you think I should fire them or should I give them a chance to do next year's better?
Well, thank you for asking because it means a lot that somebody values my opinion. Honestly, just stepping back as you did, reassessing the situation, why they may have or why they may not have falsely presented things, um, is neither here nor there. The bottom line is, hi, little guy. The bottom line is really, do you feel comfortable seeing them as a client? And if you do, maybe we need to reset boundaries. Maybe we need to use this as a learning opportunity and say, hey, maybe it was on me. I may have gotten too complacent. Maybe I need to reinstill my point inspection check in process, even though they're existing clients. And that's actually what one of our classes, Grooming for Success, covers is before even starting, what am I looking in this cat? Is this cat a viable grooming client today? Because a lot's happened in the last 6 to 8 weeks since
Year,
your last client.
year.
Hmm. Me,
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy when I hear that. Um, we recently had somebody along the same lines, kitty cat. Um, I want, but they don't comply. They didn't keep on their appointments. So they skipped 2 appointments. Um, and she says, you know what? I'm going to try the grooming myself. And I'm like, I've met your cat. Your cat is not for a brand new groomer. Your cat is not for an unexperienced person, but it's the owner. Go ahead. She's like, I'm just going to purchase my own. So smarty pants I am. I went ahead and sent her a link on discount codes and she hit the roof when she saw how much professional equipment cost. And then messaged me about a week later saying she rather not try to continue this haircut because she would like it to look like a professional did it.
Well, that's an interesting way to put it.
Sure, she didn't even try. By the time I did get to see the cat is very fractious. Um, and then we have to have a real conversation on what is needing to happen on their behalf and what I can provide them as a professional. Otherwise, again, we're putting ourselves at risk. We know this cat doesn't behave well. We know this cat hasn't been having her nails trimmed in a year. Um, these are things at risk. These are things, and I don't have a problem. If I was in your shoes and I look at my notes, I haven't seen them in here. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it looks like my records indicate that we haven't seen you in about a year. Has she been seen somewhere else in between? Yes or no? Great. Fantastic. If they haven't, we're definitely adjusting your price for today.
Yeah, I did do that. I
Good.
absolutely did that. The price went up because I was mad about the lie. I try not to. Barbara always says, don't take it personally. But I took it personally, even, yeah, even though I realized the reason for the lie is that they do care about me and they don't want to appear lame after telling me they got their. And last year they did get the nails. Yeah.
Too
they're-
late.
Yeah, it is too late because I definitely made a judgment. Uh, I can't trust them again. I will always inspect the cat, just like you said. I think I'm going to keep him for another year because the cat is not tangly. I'm not even sure why they want the hair off, but it's a pretty easy $100 for me to just go over there and take the hair off the cat.
She's probably hot.
Huh?
She's probably hot.
Yes, that I'm sure that's what they think. Or, um, no, that's probably what they think. Thinking about who they are, that's totally probably what they think. So you guys may be wondering where Barbara is. Barbara's at a dog show.
Oh.
I know. And it was a random spontaneous text yesterday where she said, "Can we record on a different day?" And I said, "I got a better idea. I'll see if Dana's available." So I'm so
Aww.
grateful. I want to very publicly thank you. You are a fantastic co host. I love having you on. This is one of the very first shows where I've had someone playing Barbara's part, but we kept to the traditional outline of the show. So
Cool.
I think it's going to be really fun. You don't have to stay in your specialty. Dana does groom dogs and cats. So she gets to
I know.
talk about the dogs today. It'll be
I know.
fun.
People get super weirded out. I think it was at last Groom Expo in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where um, we were doing live demos in the booth, and I didn't have a particular demo dog, so I pulled one from the crowd. Happened to be a Pomeranian that they wanted in a lion's cut, and so my friends walking by did it. Double take. You're like, that's not even a cat, and I go, but it is in a lion cut. So
Definitely. Oh, yeah. So, and once again, just very public thank you for coming on the show.
I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
well, let's get into our first appointment, but first, let's hear from our sponsors. Let me tell you about Best Shot's newest addition to the Ultramax Pro line. Ultramax Hair Hold is a flexible hairspray that can be layered on for a stronger hold. Ultramax Hair Hold Spray is great, but my favorite new product is called the Max, and I won't groom without it. It's a fragrance free, ultra concentrate conditioner and detangler. It reduces drying time and handles undercoat and tangles like magic. Just a few drops in the final rinse or spray it on and dry it in. Contact your favorite Best Shot distributor or learn more online at bestshotpet.com. Grooming success begins with Best Shot in your tub, made from the best stuff on earth. Ready, groomers? Here comes our first appointment. Navigating the grooming show. You know, there's nothing quite like the energy of a grooming trade show. The new products, the education, connecting with fellow groomers. It's such a fantastic experience, right? But sometimes, with so much going on, it can feel a little overwhelming to figure out how to make the most of your time and your investment. That's exactly what we're tackling today. I'm so excited to have Dana Chavez-Rey, an anchor and captain, joining me to share their insights on how to really get the most out of every grooming trade show you attend. Get ready to take notes because this is going to be a game changer. Dana travels to so many shows. Sometimes she drives, sometimes she flies, but way more than I do. So I thought this would be a really fun topic. And we're going to start out with, how do you pick the show that you want to go to?
Oof. Okay. Well, I I do it to myself. Um, Starting in November is when I plan out what shows I'd like to attend. And then I usually submit that schedule to the show organizers through Barkley Productions or World Pet Associations or US Pet Pro Classic. I'll submit my updated list of classes and I basically tell them I'm available these dates. If you'd like to use me, let me know. If not, I completely understand. But not always do I get, as you guys may have recently noticed, not always do I get chosen for all of the shows. And we can assume I have no control whether or not I get to be asked as a guest, because that's really all it is. I do not work for these companies. I get invited on to speak on my niche, and they allow me that platform.
I think that's pretty cool. And as a groomer who's just going for the education part, I always think location is a pretty big deal. Like, if it's hard to get from the airport to the show, that's a deterrent for me because I want to make the most of my time. And I think each of the shows has a different feeling. And I think that here's Huckleberry saying hello to everybody. Boy, I need to clean my lens off
You.
a little bit. There's Huckleberry. You want to go down? Off you go. Um, that the feeling of the show, like, I like the feeling of Atlanta Pet Fair. I mean, Groom. I can have a hard time with that name, Groom. I like the feeling of that show. It's a fun show. I don't love the location of the venue, but
Okay. Fair enough.
it's okay, right? It's a decent venue. It's a nice show. The people are friendly. It gets a lot of attendance. Whereas, for instance, our Pacific Northwest show is inconveniently scheduled between a couple of East Coast shows. And some of the vendors, it's very expensive to pack up all your stuff and fly to the Northwest, unpack for 2 or 3 days, pack it back up, and then immediately head back to the East Coast and unpack your stuff at another show. So that show has a little bit different feeling than a show like Atlanta Pet Fair. And the other draw for me is I look for something I want to learn about. I look for speakers I like. I look for programs I like. And in the case of the US Pet Pro Classic this year, it was all about behavior. And if there'd have been a class or a show that I would have loved to have gone to, it would have been that one because of all the behavior classes. So there's always like little differences between them all. So I said my one of my favorite is Atlanta Pet Fair, formerly Atlanta Pet Fair, currently Groomed. I've also been a lot of times to Groom Expo and then the Northwest Show. Groom Expo is a really decent show. I will be the first to admit it's well attended. Everybody comes out for it. It's one of the two primary shows for Barkley. They pay a lot of attention to it, whereas they don't pay a lot of attention to our Northwest show. So I would choose, if I was going to travel, I would choose Groom Expo rather than traveling to the Northwest. However, you can't beat our location. It's beautiful downtown Tacoma in a fantastic uh, art filled hotel room with lots of convention areas. So I do like that. Do you have a favorite show?
Top two are for very different reasons. So I love Groom Expo. Um, I think having it at the lodge, it having the sense of feel afterwards. Yeah, you get to do the trade show afterwards, or you do the trade show and then afterwards you get that break near the fireplace on you get to speak to a new friend you've just made, and it's the camaraderie. It's having a new friend. It's excited about teaching somebody else about a product that you've just learned about that day, or going over notes, going over who are you going to see tomorrow in class, what speaker or what class are you going to be attending. It's you feel the buzz, you feel what Barkley's created with the. I guess it's like our Oscars at the end of the year with your dinner and honors award. It's just it sets itself apart from other shows throughout the year. And then my second favorite is for complete opposite reasons. I love Super Zoo. I love because it's local-ish to me, so I can still drive there with my entire family. Um, we haven't attended Super Zoo the last 3 years because of conflicting schedules, but I love Super Zoo for different reasons. You have so many vendors, some I've never even heard of. They have an entire section of brand new up and coming products that are going to be launched. So before the public even gets to see it, I get to see it. I get to hold it. It's tangible to me. And I get to ask the manufacturers, what do you guys put in this? My cats go nuts over it. Do you need an ambassador? But I get to speak to people and their thought process. I get to learn more about the company, which I love. I am a big nerd about ingredients and what goes into shampoos. I would never put anything on my own personal cats that I wouldn't put. Rewind that. I wouldn't put on my clients' cats that I wouldn't put on my own personal cats. Um, so I'd like to know more about the company, and Super Zoo's a way to go. So whenever we talk about shows like that, they're big. They're big in the sense there's a high volume of attendance. They're big in the sense you can get lost because there's
Super Zoo, especially. It's
multi.
massive.
Oh yeah, multi levels for Hershey because of the speakers are in the ballroom floor downstairs. The showroom floor is got its almost pre-opening blossom show in the front. So the show is actually trickled out into the hallway where Groomers Mart is now, Whitman's was. So there's a couple booths that have trickled out because the showroom, the trade show floor is so big. Super Zoo, I always tell folks, pick one or the other. Either choose to dedicate just to go learn and do your classes, or take the time and go see the showroom floor, because you can't do both. You'll get lost. It will literally take you the 3 days to go from every single booth and speak to every single vendor. I always recommend also having an extra set of luggage, especially for Super Zoo.
Yeah.
And I know the vendors are going to hate it when I say this. I say this with love, but there's a lot of overseas vendors that come to Super Zoo when they're trying to launch their product. Trust me when I say they do not want to bring that entire booth and pay for that booth to get shipped back. So if the show ends at 3 o'clock, at 2:59, you better show up to the booth that you love the most and ask them, is there anything that you don't want to bring back? And watch.
What a great tip.
My
Oh my
mom's loved
God.
that tip since I think like 1998. She
That
has
is very clever.
with the cart and litter shampoos, treats, food, leashes. A good friend of mine that runs Howl's Rescue in Brooklyn, she got an entire booth donated to her rescue, which I thought, yeah, was absolutely phenomenal, right? So
That's so
she did
cool.
her networking thing and they thought it was a wonderful cause. She rented a U-Haul, put all of that stuff in it. It was an entire booth, Susie.
That's amazing.
And so she's like, I love Super Zoo. I'm going every year. And it's not about free stuff. Again, you have competition for groomers, you have classes going on. Sometimes they have big celebrities in the booth. I got to meet Jose Canseco once. One of the Shark Tank members from the show was also there. Dr. Becker was also there giving her holistic remedies and recommendations. Dr. Pohl. So all kinds of different celebrities that they're tangible. I can actually speak to them.
I
That's
saw the parolees and pitbulls guy.
right.
Um, yeah.
She was there.
Also, you guys, if you don't know, that's one of the shows where they actually have a concert for everybody who attends the show. And so I got to see Styx, which was one of my favorite shows and favorite bands of my whole life. So
Oh,
I got to see him in a tiny venue with a bunch of groomers, and it was really, really cool. I will say, I hate Super Zoo. I hate it for many, many reasons.
oh,
Primarily because there was so much non-grooming stuff there. So for a first show, which it wasn't my first show, I'll say that. But if it was my first show, I would have been so overwhelmed by the stimulation in that trade show room, by all of the Purinas and the Iams and the gigantic vendors that came in with all kinds of pet store stuff, that I didn't get to focus on the grooming stuff, which was a huge distraction to me. The bad part also was that the location of the trade show versus the location of the classroom is really far apart.
yeah.
So if you're teaching, which we were teaching, if you're in there teaching and then you want to go to the trade show and then you realize your class is coming up, you are so far away. You could be 15 minutes late to your own class if you're not watching your time, which means that if you're shopping and trying to learn, just like you said, you should probably pick one or the other at that particular show, or choose a smaller show. Now, smaller shows have an advantage as well because you really get up close and personal to the grooming celebrities, the people that we learn from online, the people who put content out. You can get up to them and talk to them. Plus, there's still some vendors at some of the small shows. I would call the Northwest Grooming Show a small show. I would call, like, there's small, medium, and oh my God, right? Super Zoo's oh my God. Um, Groomed is a large show. Groom Expo West is a large show. Groom Expo is an oh my God show. It's really big. It's focused on grooming. I could never do it because if I'm that close to an amusement park, Nothing will stick in my head. I will be thinking about how I can get over there and ride the rides, and I would not
Susie,
pay any attention to the grooming stuff. It would be really,
seriously?
really bad. It's dead serious.
Las
If
Vegas
I,
is a giant amusement park. And
not for me, I want rides. I want
um,
rides and attractions. There's
there's
nothing there
there's
anymore. They're all
rides
closed.
there's
Not
rides
really.
at the end or at the top of some buildings that will shoot you right off.
I would never ride those. They're not maintained. They're horrible. I have to be in permanent parks like Hershey. Hershey is a park that I want to go to so badly, but at the time that the show, the Groom Expo is, Hershey's only open during the weekends, which really screws me up. So I've just never gone for that reason. I know it's a stupid reason.
And well, how dumb is mine? I've gone the last 7 years in a row, and I've yet to step foot in the park. And I get free tickets every year.
Free tickets?
I get free tickets every time you register. They'll give you park tickets, or they'll work something out if you stay at the lodge. You get your full bar of chocolate, your room key, and tickets.
Are you kidding me? I had no idea. But see, this is where the problem would lie. I would go, I would check in, I would get my tickets, and you wouldn't see me until Monday morning. I'm
With a ring
certain.
of chocolate around your
That's right. Some cotton candy in my hair with a roller coaster next because I've just wrecked my body. I do want to go. I want to go Sunday. The other thing is it's hard to get to for me because it's all the way across country, just like you. But
Yep.
you actually have a reason to go, whereas, you know, I can go to the other side of the country. I can just go down to Groom Expo West
I've
and it's
I've
probably good enough.
I've not only flown it, which is my preferred method, we've also driven it.
That's a commitment.
That
let's
is
talk about
fun.
let's talk about some of these other shows that are potentially also a commitment. Um, did you do the Rocky Mountain Groom Expo this year?
No, but I am scheduled for the Arizona version of Rocky Mountain.
Cool. I think
And
it's exciting that they're doing two. That's really cool.
so this one is going to be more feline focused, grooming and behavior. So I'm excited to
Nice.
see what Tina has up her sleeve.
Very, very exciting. Then there's Groom Texas. There's Master Groom Canada. There's the All American, which is have you been to the All American?
I have. I'm scheduled for that as well.
I've never been to that one. My friend went. She had a great time. She competed with a cat in creative.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. There's the New England Grooming Show, which is in Springfield, Massachusetts. The All Americans in Schaumburg, Illinois. Master Grooms in Calgary. Groom Texas is in Houston. Rocky Mountain Groom Show is either
Colorado.
uh, in Colorado Springs, Colorado, or where's the Arizona one? Is it Tucson?
I want to say. I want to say Tucson, if not Phoenix.
Yeah, okay. Um, New England Show, Springfield, Mass. Fits Fun in the Sun in
That'll
Orlando.
that'll be my first time this year because last year got canceled because of the hurricanes. Yeah.
Right. I think that would be a fun one. Once again, location, location, location. Not likely I would attend anything there.
Come on.
Oh,
At the very least, it's a nice vacation, right?
yes. And, I always need an excuse to ride another roller coaster. So why not? Right. Plus, Orlando's pretty easy for me to get to from Seattle because all the flights are direct and I don't have to stop somewhere and I don't have to go too far to get from the airport. So that's a good destination for me.
Oh, so
Then
see
there's,
that's a game changer for you if you can't get a direct flight.
yeah,
Oh, okay. See, I'm different. I like the stops. I at least like one stop if I'm doing cross country, especially with the cats. I like to let them stretch their legs, go potty, get
yeah,
rid
we're going to
of
talk about the cats here in just a moment. Um, Pet Quest in Ohio,
fun.
another one that would be tough for me because there's like three amusement parks really pretty close to that one. And Intergroom, which is another biggie in Secaucus, New Jersey.
That's so much
Um,
fun. I
yeah.
love that
So
show.
yeah. So when you're getting ready to go, deciding what to pack is a little tricky because guaranteed you're going to come back with more than you go with. So, like you were saying, bring an extra suitcase, bring an extra carry bag or a backpack or something that you can haul stuff around. A lot of the vendors have bags, but they're usually not great bags, and everybody's bag looks the same. But if you have your own bag, then at least you can
Yeah.
recognize it's your stuff, especially when you set it underneath your chair and then walk out of the classroom and then go,
Oh
oh my God, I left my
my.
bag there. And then you run in and which seat did I sit in? Oh, well, there's my bag.
I have seen countless tears at many shows, and it's usually because I left fill in the blank my $400 scissors or my $500 brand new dryer under my chair. Those are
Yep.
tough.
It's heartbreaking. I do make a checklist, and especially if I'm competing or speaking, I start on that list. I'm a big list maker. I like to have lists because I like a physical thing to scratch out. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. So make a little box and then I put an X in it and then I color it in. So I always make a nice list of everything. The thing is, most of the shows I need to bring the same thing over and over again. So one list can suffice for everything. I also have a generic packing list that I can use to bring my like clothing and stuff like that. If you're going to bring pets, it further complicates. And Dana carries her cats everywhere. So I'm going to pass the microphone over to you and tell me what it's like when you're traveling with two cats.
Um, it's not for everybody. I always tell folks when you like dogs, people usually will come up to you and say, I like dogs. Folks that don't like dogs will keep to themselves and not say a word. Completely different with cats. Way different with cats. I travel with cats, and people who genuinely dislike cats feel it's their purpose in life to come up to me and tell me how much they loathe cats, how much they hate cats, they don't like them. Why is the cat on the flight? Why would you do this to the cat? And I smile and I said, because it's my job. Because I
Yes.
get contracted by different companies or shows to teach other people how to comfortably groom cats. So, packing.
Check that out. Oh, that's a
So,
lot of crap stuff.
this is for everybody. This is for two cats, two adults, and two dogs under 10 pounds. This white Utsumi bag is just for me. That's all I would take if it was just me traveling somewhere for 3 days. That's all I need. That other monstrosity is for if we're going on a road trip. I need, if you want, we'll start from this end, which is a collapsible carrier. I absolutely love it. I saw a lot of people at the cat show circuit have these. It's collapsible.
Oh, look at that. It's a double.
This exactly, this splits so they can have a partition. This opens, this opens, this opens, that is open. Um, it comes with a hammock, but my cats are a little robust, so the hammock doesn't work for them because the whole thing will collapse. I grab a very small Tupperware box. Their litter goes in it. It gets pushed in the back. Their food and water goes up in the front. So they have plenty of room. This goes in the car.
Okay.
Otherwise, this I take to shows to allow my cats a little time off. They have their own little potty. I don't have to run them back and forth anywhere. And as you can see, they're super comfortable in it. This collapsible kennel is for both the dogs, which is
Why
I
the cat is in there.
or a very sleepy white cat. I am not a big fan of having things loose in the car. I was several years. It's just not safe. I don't. I don't see fit trying to drive and have the dog in your arms. You get into an accident, that dog's going to go right through the windshield. or if your dogs are loose in the back and you have an accident, those dogs are going to go flying, and now they're projectile objects that are, anywho, I don't want to get too morbid. Then we have strollers, because depending on what shows we go to, it's like you said, a far distance between the showroom floor and the classes,
On the
or
hotel.
the hotel. Oh my gosh. Also, the climate. Super Zoo is in Las Vegas. It's desert. It's very, very, very hot. So, 2 strollers. If it is just one of the cats at one of the shows, this is usually what you see. Is me in the stroller. And that's usually just the one cat, because only one cat fits in it. I usually bring straps because this is a check-in. You have to check this in. Yes, I do have to pay for it. But unless you can get around, and I'm not saying that you should, but if you can get around to maybe customizing a real human baby one that closes, you do not get charged.
Wow, isn't that sneaky?
But I normally have these straps. Let's say I run out of room and I have a huge blanket, which I usually travel with big blankets with the cats. Then I just strap all this down. I haven't gone around to it, but I also get a large bag to cover this, because again, traveling through different states, you get rain. This isn't protected. Now all my stuff is damaged. So there's that. I also like to set up a little thing for my camera. So we like to record funny looks, inappropriate comments, people doing a double take when they realize there's a cat in the stroller.
GroomPod videos.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Our really large kennel. So if we're taking the entire family, both dogs go in the small kennel. If we're at the show and it's local, you're going to see me with this thing. So this is the large stroller, which is great because if you're going in and out of the hotel and you have all this stuff you need to pack up, I normally grab the collapsible kennel, put it here, and then put my bags on top. Otherwise,
wow, that's pretty neat.
we use it.
Wow.
And I love it because it is pretty low to the ground. I don't have to pick anyone up. Dogs jump in, dogs jump out. If I'm using it for the cats, I always top load.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah, thanks.
So how often do you fly? How often do you drive?
I usually fly every 3 weeks. The shows that we drive to are, let's see, Groom Expo, Tacoma, I guess Arizona, Teton is in Utah. Those would be the ones that I feel comfortable. And I say I, and by I mean Alex, my partner, driving. I don't drive.
Driving is overrated these days, although I do love it.
You don't get any points.
It's true.
You don't get points if you do bad things.
It's true. If you run somebody over, there's a few points, but who wants to do that?
Who wants to be locked up? I mean, come on.
So some things you might not, or one thing you might not think about bringing, but you do want to bring it because it saves you a lot of time, is business cards. If you don't bring a stack of business cards, you will be writing things on raffles and everywhere else on everything you buy. You'll have to hand them or hand write your stuff on there. Yeah, good tip.
That's a great tip. But I'm lazy and I don't like carrying stuff around. So I have a digital card.
Oh,
It looks like this. It has a QR code on the back. I put my little sticker on it. I grab my phone. I hover, and the NFS should shoot over to that phone. All of my personal information comes up, and either my client or an attendee can follow me Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media channels I offer, and you can lay it dormant or have it live. So during the work week, and I'm Groomer Dana, I just set it to my phone number and the website. If I'm teaching, I guess I would still be the same Groomer Dana. Cat Groomer Dana. I flip on all the social media so they can follow the cats, they can follow me, YouTube, everything. So it's a
where do
little
you
bit
get that?
You can go to Popple Card, and if you want, I'll send you a link. And I think I even have like a discount code you guys can use.
Cool.
But
That's really smart.
they make bracelets, because really, when you hand over a card to a potential client, what are they going to do? I lost
Yeah.
it. And now you're investing more if you make a magnet. And now you're just holding up people's crap on their fridge. Now, I want something that you're going to store in your phone, that you're going to follow me and you're going to know, oh, okay, this is a person. Otherwise, if you just have the business cards, I normally recommend, if it's something important, put it in your sleeve. We don't
Yes.
lose these. So if you
Ever.
make a friend, put it on the back of your badge, or put their business card in the back of their badge. So you guys will know, and I'm giving away all my secrets. If I took your business card away in my badge, you're someone important. I want to
You're
keep in
in.
you. If you see me just shove it in my pocket or shove it somewhere else.
I'm going to remember that. So I have heard over the years of people who have gotten their credit cards skimmed in the trade show floors. So I recommend bringing a protective case or sleeve to cover your credit card when you're walking around the trade show floor. You don't even know when it happens.
So 4 years ago, no, because it was pre 2020. The Black Hat Convention was going on at the same time Super Zoo was going on. And
We were there. I was there for that. Yeah, okay.
for those of you who are not familiar with that, they're gamers. They're gamers, they're computer analysts. They're the
Hackers.
all that encompasses hacking, and oh my gosh, so many people intermingled and intermixed, and those people were allowed into our show. And yeah, a lot of theft happened that show. So I think it's really important that you have some type of protective sleeve, or if you can um, put your information on your phone and just to where it's tap, or good old fashioned cash.
Cash is good.
Nobody can steal your identity with cash.
That's right. But you never know how much you're going to buy. So sometimes you get in there and you see this really neat dryer and it's $300, $400 and you brought a couple $100 in cash and you've already spent that on those scissors anyway. Yeah, you want to have your stuff protected because that kind of stuff does happen. Another thing you might not think about is a notebook. In the old days, when you'd sign up for a grooming show and you come in to register, they'd give you a notebook and
Yeah.
a pen. They don't do that anymore. At least I haven't seen anybody do it for a long time. And it's good to get the handouts from the people who are teaching if they print out a handout and give it to you. But oftentimes there's so much more information you want to take note of. And if you don't have a place to write it, you're stuck trying to tap things into your phone or whatever. I find a pad of paper is often quicker than trying to get notes on my phone. Sometimes some people are fast on their phone.
I
Um,
think I think the shows are trying to reduce the amount of waste and try to digitalize everything. Um, I've noticed that, gosh, 8 years I've been teaching, like for these shows, and it's always, can I have a copy of the presentation? Can I have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation? Do you have handouts? I think have maybe been asked twice. But it's a matter of things are changing, you know. We got to go with the time, so everything's digitalized.
And they're not going to put that back in the box. We're not going backwards. So get
Yeah.
used to using your phone, but if you want, bring a pad of paper and a pen.
I will say this: there are some speakers that do not allow videoing, so keep
Right.
in mind if you are going to take pictures or if you're going to take video, please ask the speaker. I don't care. I'll take pictures with you. I give you my all my personal information anyway, so I'm fine with that. But I know there are speakers that that's their content. They're trying to protect their content and the integrity of it when they put it out. So I
I
understand.
respect that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I respect that. Absolutely. So every show prints a program or sends one digitally these days. I think that you need to review that before you ever go to the show and make a list of the things that are a priority for you.
Oh,
It's
for sure.
easy to get distracted, especially for me. I I was always the kid who had written on their report card, cannot refrain from disturbing others, which means that I'm talking to every single person in every single booth. People that don't have people at their booths, I'll talk to them just because they don't have someone at their booth. So
Aw.
I'm always out there talking and chatting. I have to set an alarm so that I don't miss classes. Ones I'm teaching, ones I'm taking. That's where phones are really handy, and I appreciate the ability to just set an alarm so that I can show up on time. One of my favorite things about trade shows is the networking, is going out to meet people, and I like to pre-plan some of my networking. So I'll find out if any of my friends are going to the show and in real life or online, and make arrangements to meet them for lunch or dinner or to go to classes together or shop together, because it's a great opportunity to meet the people you see on our groups every day but haven't gotten to meet in person. So set yourself up for some fun that way and meet those online friends and go with a friend. I like to travel with a friend sometimes. I have a close
It's
friend,
nice.
Brandy. I also like going alone so that I can talk to 8 million people without somebody standing there going, "Are we going to eat? I'm ready
Happy
to eat."
foot.
Yep.
that that's that's actually why I normally have somebody helping me or assisting me because I can't keep time to save my life. I have physically had my assistants grab me and they go, "Thank you very much. We have to get her to class now." And I'm like, "Rude, not rude.
It
I have
doesn't matter.
I have to get
It's
this."
your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially with carrying all that stuff, it's really good. And you guys who are competing, you want to bring ringside help.
You have to.
Really want to bring ringside help. There's nothing worse than being at the table in the ring and realizing you left your hairspray somewhere or your comb, heaven forbid, or one of your most essential pairs of shears still up in the room. If you've got somebody that can run up there and grab them, you might save your whole competition that way.
In a lot of that, we have to remember keeping the anxiety level down, keeping the stress level down. You're working with live animals. You have to keep the same tone as you would in your salon that you would in the competition ring because that dog's going to sense, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Again, why do you smell so weird? Why are you so stressed out? Well, you know,
Nothing worse than nervous sweat to let every other animal in the world know that you're upset. uh, pack your competition and speaking outfits. I've left without the clothes I was going to wear to speak. But Barbara's very cool that way, so she doesn't require me to get as dressed up as she is. She gets dressed up. She looks nice for her speaking.
aw,
I'm just me. You know, you take me with my t-shirts or not. Yeah. So let's see what else. Oh, and if you're competing, start that grooming list of tools early. Like as you're working on your regular work dogs, write stuff down. I love that tale. Get your stuff written down so that when you're packing, You don't have to think about all the stuff. You've already written a list, you've got it copied down, you've groomed a bunch of dogs with that list set beside you. Of course, I'm organized that way. Like Barbara would never do that. Barbara is finishing her program as she's getting off the plane to get in the hotel room. That's just how she rolls. But for me, I like to plan.
I had a great conversation with Victor, which is also part of the Tsumi team, about how funny in particular we are about things that we use in our everyday grooming lives versus things we use at shows or things we use when we're competing. And we both said the same thing. Our nice, expensive, quality scissors are usually only for shows. Not to say that our
Crazy.
our clients don't deserve it, but we're fickle little creatures like that. So I'm not shaming anybody who has their own set of equipment just for shows. Some of this stuff I haven't even unpacked because it's always in use just for shows. It's always in use just when I travel. Um, my own deodorant, my own toothbrush. These are all things I use so often. I have a travel set of that already.
I do
These
too.
guys, their bowls, certain mats, certain blankets, they know are just for shows.
That's funny. I laugh about the scissor thing because I used to do that. I used to have a special pair that I didn't use. Now I'm using everything. I just use it. I'm like, why am I grooming with these shit scissors? Excuse my language, but this is stupid. I have much better scissors, but I can absolutely respect someone who wants their competition shears to be absolutely sharp. I mean, as sharp as they can possibly be, so you get the finest finish you can get. So, in that respect, I get it. You want to keep those separate. But for me, why am I spending $350 on a pair of shears and not using them every day? So, I do. I do. One of the great things about going to grooming shows is the fact that you get to try scissors on your hands. It's priceless. There's no other way to do it unless you're lucky enough to have a nice distributor who has a few different lines like I do near me. Otherwise, you don't know what fits your hands unless you use Precision Sharp's Lynx shears, which are adjustable. And I'm going to just play their ad right now. Maybe. There we go. The GroomPod and Precision Sharp would like to invite you to check out the newest precise cut shear called Lynx. Its patented design features a thumb ring that slides the length of the handle for perfect ergonomic placement of your thumb. Slide it, lock it into place, and get your best grooms on. Check it out at precisionsharp.com.
Show season has a great enzymatic cleaner called Kennel Fresh. And you dilute it with warm water and it smells good. And then it evaporates to be a deodorant. As the Kennel Fresh dries, it's enzymatic. It eats the bacteria and the odor source. So it's really good stuff. You can use it indoors or out. Find it at your local distributors or showseasongrooming.com.
Since you are super experienced at flying with the cats, can you give any tips for actually the airplane travel for people?
Ooh, okay. So mine was by trial and error because, as you know, traveling with a dog is night and day. Um, the DOT, Department of Transportation, does not recognize cats, felines, to be a service anything. So, yes, you can get your dog trained and become a service animal. You can get your pony, peacock, whatever. You cannot, because cats are considered to be too independent of thinkers. I don't know if they've ever met a pony before, but whatever. That the cat cannot provide a service for you. So, through trial and error, I learned, oh shoot, I should probably bring a litter box. I should probably bring all of their favorite treats to keep them nice and calm during our flights. I also have minnows somewhere. Um, I normally freeze about 2 or 3 water bottles overnight, just so I have one, somewhere cool that if I need to, they can lay with. Two, I can now be cheap and drink my water later. um, but traveling with a cool source, a collapsible carrier is key. You have to have a collapsible carrier. Um, I've gotten certain sticklers about the dimensions of my carrier, but it's neither here nor there. As long as it fits underneath the seat in front of you, you are okay. Um, food. This is really neat. I love this. This is their little travel bowls. And I normally do water, treats, and their food. So it looks like one of those. My friend looked at it. She goes, "Did you get that at an Indian restaurant?" And I'm like, "Probably would have been cheaper." So there's the lid. And now you have 2 little bowls. And they stack.
Nice.
And I love these. I absolutely love these because this set is dedicated just for their travels. But normally, if I can, I try to bring their own sets from home because nothing's going to beat home. But for the airlines, I always like to reserve their spot same time as I purchase my ticket. So each airline's going to vary a little bit differently. I normally travel through American Airlines, even though my dad worked for United for 37 years. Just because of the service and just because of the treatment I've always had when I'm traveling with my animals. And that's just personal preference. So I reserve their spot because certain airlines only allow a certain amount of animals per flight. So American
Sometimes
Airlines.
too.
I know American Airlines only allows 3. So
Alaska's too.
shoot. Yeah. Get
Yeah.
your reservations on there. Otherwise, if you show up with a pet and you don't have your reservations and it is full with the capacity of animals, you will be asked to catch a later flight.
Yeah.
Same with their size. Same with their size. They have to, certain airlines require that they be able to stand and turn. American Airlines have been a little bit more lax with their policies, and they just as long as the carrier fits under the seat and they're under 20 pounds, which my big boy is just at 18. Ugh. Ugh.
That's a little. So, do you time their feeding before you get on the flight? Like with the dogs, I always tell people, please don't feed your dog the morning that you're flying.
Oh,
Just
come
save it
on.
later. Well, I've I have seen myself a dog with diarrhea in an airport where the person is just walking through the airport and leaving a trail behind them as they're trying to get to the potty spot. They never called anybody. I mean, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, it is.
So I would hate that if it were me. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to time out the feeding so that I feed them when they get to the hotel room and I feed them the evening before. Because you've worked at a vet. They're not going to pass out.
So exactly. The content the content on my cats is pretty robust. They can survive, I would say, a few days without a meal. If anything, the treats are more to pacify if they get
Yeah.
vocal or if they get upset, which is super rare. Um, there, this is what a freak I am. I know when they go potty, so I have an idea when
I get it.
they're helping. They're helping me pack
I
it,
love it.
crashing in the background. Um, so I know he normally goes potty 11 a.m. number 2. I know Anchor goes potty usually around 8 o'clock at night. So depending on the flight, I don't like disrupting their feeding time. It is a great suggestion for dogs. For kitty
dogs.
cats, because of their high metabolism, I want to keep their schedule as close to possible. My main thing for them is hydration. So that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
I usually bring the Cheroos because it's predominantly water anyways. So as long as I keep them hydrated, I'm happy with it. Like I said, I normally bring the litter box with me. So litter box usually goes in this bag. my chapstick, my earphones, stuff that I would need immediately for the flight come in this bag with me. But if he calls, excuse me,
They're tight.
thanks. If he cries or calls a certain way, I know that means bathroom. So I take him, I take my other bag, we go to the lavatory, we pull down the baby changing table. And trust me, I've had plenty flight attendants ask if they can watch. They legit think I'm going to put the cat on the toilet and he's going to flush the toilet. I'm like, no. You guys have watched way too many Meet the Fockers. So I bring the changing table down. I put the litter box down and it's almost immediate. He knows as soon as he hits the litter, boop, 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 he's done. Let him stretch his legs out a little bit, reward him, put him back in his box or in his carrier, and back we go. But I think since I've had
What do you do with the litter?
I usually bring like a Ziploc bag, lots of Ziploc bags, and
yeah, gloves. Those are pretty.
Gloves. Oh. Yep. always latex gloves. I mean, my friends make fun of me because I will go to all you can eat crab with those same gloves.
I get it. So the last thing I want to say about going to a grooming show is really important, and that's make a shopping list, because nothing is worse than going to a show with the idea that you're going to get a dryer or a special pair of shears, or you're looking for some shampoo, and you go and you're on the plane headed home and you realize you never did buy that smock or whatever it is you really desperately wanted to get. Once again, I'm a list person, so lists are very helpful, but also you can ask to have stuff shipped. Sometimes they'll drop ship it from the factory and they don't even have to bring the stuff out, especially if you let them know in advance. Oftentimes these vendors will run show specials that you can call and get if you know the right words to say. Like, hey, I know I missed this. I missed you at the booth, but can I get? And oftentimes they will drop ship you something. So yeah. Anything else you might want to add about going to a groom show that you would want somebody who's just starting out to know? Oh, Band-Aids. I vet wrap. Vet wrap. Oh, biofreeze. Those are, yeah, very important.
Just because we're not a newer edition groomer, I always joke around because I'm a late 1900 model, that my body is of an 87-year-old woman in groomer years. So bring Band-Aids, bring some type of first aid kit, not only for you, but for your pets. Again, like I mentioned, Vegas is very hot. Bring booties. Even if you're not planning on using them, bring booties, bring a cooling pad, um, freeze water overnight. Some of the kids, what I do is I'll grab their Tupperware, I'll freeze water, and then on top I'll put their water for travel, so they'll lick it, not spill it, not make a mess of it. The biofreeze, oh my god, the biofreeze is amazing for your feet when they feel like they're on fire after working and putting in 10,000 steps and you don't realize it. Standing and grooming versus a trade show, it's like a full day's work. It is a full workout. You're excited, emotions are going, you get a little sweaty, you're now dehydrated, you're on your feet more than usual. Biofreeze or KT tape. Go ahead and put that on your back, or on your lower back, on your feet. It's just to help. It's not going to get rid of anything, but certainly help you to maximize your shopping and show experience.
Yeah, don't forget appropriate shoes.
Oh my God. Do not go there cute. Do not go in your stiletto, platform, red bottom, whatever you ladies or gents want to call them. Wear the comfortable shoes. Please, please, please wear the comfortable shoes. You're shopping. Nobody's judging on what you're wearing. Nobody cares.
They're not even looking down there unless you have a cat with you in a stroller, because then they might be looking at your feet.
Maybe.
Well, this has been so much fun. I cannot tell you, I know I said it before, but I'm so grateful that you would come on. It's so much fun to just spend time with you. I really appreciate your teaching style. One of my complaints always is that people need to take an improv class. I was thinking maybe I should offer to teach an improv class at grooming seminars for speakers because it would really help the speakers interact and be able to deal with audience and to be more entertaining. I really think that speaking at a grooming seminar, you need to be entertaining on top of educational. And I feel that you are that.
Oh, thanks. That's a really tough balance. And I'm really happy that you said that regarding speakers because it's one or the other. People think we're all best friends, which I'm trying to think. No, I'm not best friends with all of them.
Yeah.
Or
Nope.
we all hate each other, which isn't true. I can say that unequivocally without a doubt. There's just maybe one. No, I'm just kidding. I try to keep at least a professional working relationship with fellow speakers. One, I know what they're going through. I'm doing the same thing. We're putting our content out there, and we are literally being judged. We're leaving ourselves
Every moment.
open to every single person attending to these shows, not only during the shows, but after shows. We still have to have it turned on. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh, well, they see me um, at the fireplace at Hershey, just lounging with the kitty cat. It's okay for me to approach them and talk to them more about the class, which is fine for me, but may not be okay with another speaker. So please always ask if you can have another moment of their time or if there's a more appropriate time to speak to them. Don't just assume because they're at a trade show that they're there just for you. Because sometimes we are there for us and we try to kick back and relax. But I'm happy that you said that. And I think it'd be wonderful to have a class just for speakers or people interested in how do I do this? Do I have to be sponsored? Do I have to be recognized? Do I have to be certified? All of these questions brand new groomers have, even some existing groomers have. I want to teach. I think I have different content or I can put a different spin on that. I love that. Barkley did a few years ago um, 5 different speakers on how to do just the Sean heads. And I
Uh-huh.
guarantee you, every single speaker had their own twist, had their own form of teaching and getting that point across to these attendees on how to get what they have. And we're artists. So, of course, things are going to look different. Things are going to seem different. The way I communicate with you, you like and you enjoy, but somebody else next to you may not like the way I teach, or they don't like my personality, or they can't stand the sound of my voice, whatever reason. But it's just, we have to learn and we have to not be so critical of ourselves also. Know what our strengths are and play to it. Just like you said, I also groom dogs. I groom dogs and I groom cats. But nobody, if you have the option of listening to the wonderful Lindsay Dickens versus me on how to trim a Bashan head, nobody wants to see me trim a Bashan head. They want to see
Right.
me play with some cats. So
Yes.
I get it. I completely get it and I understand. It doesn't devalue my knowledge of grooming dogs. It's just I need to understand what I'm very good at. And that obviously shines through, and other people want to also learn how to get that or gain that aspect of my grooming career and success part of
As
their
a
life.
person, as a person who has both taught and attended a lot of classes, there is something to learn from every single human being, whether it's how to be or how not to be. You can always learn. It's what you get, it's what you pick up and what you get out of it. And everybody's different as a presenter, everybody's different as a learner. And that's why we have so many different classes available. But I really wish it would be a little more entertaining because sometimes after a long flight and I get up in the morning, I fell asleep in Barbara's class in the front row, sitting in the front row. I took a red eye. I had been up for 18 hours. I just, and I was asleep.
I'm fine with that. I've had people, because some of my classes are 4 hours, 6 hours long, and I get it. Same thing. I know these groomers either drive or travel. They sacrifice to be there. And I know, especially the certificate classes, some people just want that certificate. I just want that obtainable certificate because now I can charge more. Now I want it presented in my wall. I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm fine with you closing your eyes. I'm fine with you dozing off. But I always tell my class, I draw the line when you start farting and snoring in my class. I have to draw the line somewhere, Susie.
Yep. Well, you're not supposed to bring your assistant in, have her sit in the front of the class, and then have her fall asleep. That was bad.
I wasn't going to say any of that.
She still gives me shit about that one, and I deserve it. It was fine. I shouldn't take a red eye and expect to go to class immediately. It was my own fault. I take responsibility for that. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it a day, and I'll let you go on about your life. Had so much fun with you. I just love hanging out with you, and not to mention you don't need any editing, which is just a joy
for selfish reasons.
Yes, it's wonderful. I love to edit Barbara. I learn so much every time I hear her, but it's also good to get a little break from the perfection and go for somebody who's just a real good speaker. And I think you're a real good speaker. And I think I'm a real pretty good speaker too. So I'm going to go with that.
Flowing. Yeah. You fill in the blanks and know when to move things along. And hey, we got a little off track. Let's bring it back in.
Dear, rein it in, rein it in. Cool.
Even when
okay,
you're
well,
derailing.
well, Barbara will probably be back next week. If not, I'll wrangle Dana again. Yeah, happy grooming. Make sure to make sure to support our sponsors. Remember, you can find Barbara's blogs at thegroompod.com. Dana, give us where your locations that we can find you.
Oh my goodness. So I have coming up in a few weeks Super Zoo, where I'll be teaching different clips. We'll have about 5 different breeds that I would like to introduce to the class. A local groomer will bring in her 5 in addition to my 2. So the class will have a very unique opportunity to feel different texture and coats and see the different variations of cats. Then off to All American. We were not invited to speak at Hershey this year. That was a bummer. We are going to be at New England and we are going to be at Fun in the Sun. And I believe the very last show for us will be Arizona for Rocky Mountain.
And you can find Dana on Facebook.
Yeah.
She's on Facebook a lot. And
we actually have a later a later Zoom class with OPPGA, which is Ohio Pet Professional Grooming Association, where we're going to be talking for about an hour about grooming felines with success. So this is more the business aspect of it on how to protect yourself and how to protect your clients.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. Happy grooming, everybody. See you next week on the GroomPod. Bye-bye now. Do you want to say goodbye?
Oh, bye.